Greetings folks, Macedonians and friend of Macedonia. Today I'm with two very close friends of mine. One of them is my cousin, Chris Davkovski. The other is Nick Dimit, one of my neighbours and close friends. Both figure prominently in the history of the Macedonian football or soccer club here in the Goulburn Valley. So we'll start off first with you, Chris, if you don't mind, brother. Something about yourself. How old were you when you came out here?
I was 11 years old when I came from Davkovski in Australia and we arrived straight in Shepparton, and obviously we've been in Shep ever since 1962.
That was 62, you're right.
Yes.
And Nick, you're
I'm Aussie.
true blue, bro.
Born here, mum was born here too.
That's really interesting.
Wangaratta, yeah.
When was your mum born here? What?
In Wangaratta in 41.
Right. Was she the first or was her sister the first?
Para was born overseas.
So your mum was the first born
Auntie
here?
Maria was born here too.
Yeah, and then the
My
rest.
mum was the second.
Then all
That's
the
the
rest.
second one in Australia.
Right, so getting back to the club started in 1959.
1959, and it was known as Macedonia,
Yeah.
and obviously the colours were.
Gold and black. That's
No,
what
the first 1959 they weren't. 1959 was the striped one, red and white with the blue cuffs.
No, the original one.
Oh, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that didn't last for too long.
No, it didn't last. There was,
It was.
right.
What was the
You're
striped
right.
We're
one?
talking
The
about the
striped
50.
one.
Yeah,
The striped
light
one.
green and
No, the striped one
Red,
was
white and
red,
blue.
white and blue. Blue numbers, blue cuffs and
Yeah.
collars, yeah.
well,
Yeah, so the original one
The original one, you're right, you're 100% right.
gold with a black.
With a black
can-
stripe
Like
across,
this-
a bit like the Richmond colours.
you'll be putting them on your website.
Yeah,
you
we'll have.
mention
Yeah,
that book.
that's
Yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to photograph and
Yeah.
put them all.
Yeah.
Put them all in the
Yeah.
post. So I can say something about that.
Yeah.
They had a meeting, our community, which were mainly people from Egesk, and it was Riste Cholokov, Kopulis,
Yeah.
who came up with the name, and the first president was Nick Avram,
Yes.
as we all know. Now, does anyone know why that club changed or why we changed?
To the colours? or
Why did we change the colours to the red, white and blue the
I
next one?
don't know. It was before me, Jen, so I got no idea. When I arrived 1962, the colours were the striped ones. The
My dad probably knows.
red and white and blue cuff, yeah.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about our soccer club, folks, is we spoke about this. It was more than a game, wasn't it?
Oh.
It was...
It was certainly more than a game. I mean, it was our livelihood, more or less. Yeah,
It was our pride and joy.
That was it. There was no,
We lived for Sunday.
we certainly did, and there was no tomorrow.
Yeah,
Family. It was a family.
Yeah.
it was, and it was the community. It was our community expressing ourselves as one, as a community, and unfortunately struggling against our closest relatives in some cases who thought they were Greek.
Oh, Jim, the good thing about our club was, or in those days our football club was that we, being in Shepparton, that's all we had, and then on a Sunday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, from grandparents to grandmothers, you name it, to children or whatever, everybody was going out. That was a way of and of catching up with everyone too.
So tell us a little bit about the history of the incarnation with the red, white and blue and the fight at Cleckheaton.
Well, the red, white and blue colours more or less remained till we got suspended,
Yep.
1968. And that was 1968, obviously, was the fight when we, certain person hit the referee, and then we had an all-in brawl, and the referee was on the wrong end of our club. But I started with my cousin Chris Radevsky back in 1966, so we had 2 years playing, and our first game was against Numurkah at Numurkah Showgrounds.
Yeah.
And
How old were you? 66?
1966, 15.
15.
Yeah, and we didn't have, our club didn't have juniors and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you train as a kid, and if you're good enough, obviously the late Davkovski, self-taught coach, he puts you in the seniors. If you're a sook, well, you wouldn't get in the seniors.
So, Nick, with the first one, with the yellow and black, like your team, the Tigers,
I never saw it.
do you guys know, did we have any success with that team at all?
I got look, to be honest with you, no one has brought that up, because I think there's a bit of a mixture when it did start. It had something to do.
62 around
No.
Yeah, from 62 to 66.
65 and 66, we've got the flags. We won
The Macedonian one, yeah.
the Golden, what was it called then? The green and white
Yeah,
flags.
Golden Valley
My father
Soccer
was-
Club.
So that was our
Territory
first. Our first thing was in 65. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad's got the club's still got the flags, 65 and 66. Or 66, 67, 65, 66.
What position did you play then?
In 66,
Yeah.
I played actually right half.
Do you remember that game?
I certainly do, because we played against tough players against Numurkah, Angelo Lea, centre half. The Croatian builder Drago Juric played for Numurkah, and Johan said to Chris Radevsky and me, he says, "You two are playing today," and he says, if I see you fellas backing out from a tackle," he says, "it's gonna be a while before you get in the side."
It was old school, eh?
Oh yeah, it was definitely old school. But you know what? It was it was a pleasure to sort of start under that particular coach. Yeah.
Yeah. And you learned some of your
Oh, we
disciplinary
certainly
skills
did,
from
and
that.
and the good thing is, Nick will probably tell you, he was relative. I don't know whether he was born when I started playing, but the thing is, I continued coaching pretty much the same way as he did. Admittedly, in hindsight, I probably went a little bit too far.
No way. Those days, look,
That's what it
the
was, wasn't it?
generation back then, the coach, like, one of the biggest rev ups he gave was at Tachura's grand final day. I think it was reserves.
Yeah.
And they were playing shit in the first half. And I remember opposition used to come, neutral team, you know.
Yeah.
Limo Leah came in the room.
Yeah.
A few others, and anyway, they said, "What they say?" He goes, "They're fucking mad, mate. They're going to kill each other. And you're going to wait and see what they're going to do to the opposition."
Well, passion drove us. It was not just passion for football, it was passion for being Macedonian.
Look,
for a lot of us.
Look, you're right. I mean, football was the main thing for us, but
Yeah.
on top of that, we knew, us Macedonians, and as Macedonians growing into Shep, we were a little bit degraded
Yep.
by certain people, and
Our cousins, let's
our cousins, and we needed to make a stand of who we are as human beings. There was nothing about politics.
Yeah,
It had nothing to do
yeah.
with politics.
It
It was just basically about human beings, that we have come in Australia to have a better life, and all of a sudden we found people no different than back home.
Right.
So we needed to sort of stand up and be who we are.
Be counted as Macedonians who deserve their human rights like everybody else.
Most, yeah, and without, and I don't think we failed.
No. 11 premiership is not a fail.
Yeah,
There are teams for hundreds of years old that haven't won that.
Yeah.
14
Now,
or 15.
hey?
14 or 15.
14 or 15 premierships?
One every 3 years.
Yeah.
Is that what we did?
We went for a run. We done 13 grand finals.
In a row?
From 1974
Yeah.
till 1985, we played in every grand final.
11 years.
Bar one, 1978.
78, we missed out in the finals, which was just crazy.
Well,
But that run home, Cobram, who won the grand final, beat Thresh-Tura 4-0.
Yeah.
We beat them, I think, it's in that very last few games. We beat Cobram.
Yeah.
We were storming home.
We just left our run a little bit late in
Anyway,
78. Yeah.
74
Yep.
was our big game. First time if we're sort of going forward a little bit.
So 1974,
Princess Park.
Yeah, 1974 Princess Park. We played our cousins Shep United.
We had the Park Lake Hotel.
Yeah, and Peter Coppola sponsored us, and we had Park Lake on front of it.
Yeah.
Peter Coppola's there, and we had Park Lake on our Guernseys, and we were red and black. Obviously,
Yep.
we went to red and black, and our alternative strip is yellow and black stripes as alternative.
The original one.
Original one, not the stripe across, just the black stripes on the shoulders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was the original colours what they started with before 1959. And
Македонци сме, Македонија да се вика.
And then we beat United 2-1 in the grand final, and that was the start of our club.
Scored the winning goal.
Yeah,
He was
that
only 20, 21.
Well, yeah, he's So that was virtually the start of our destiny.
Let's talk a little bit about that rivalry, because that was probably the most important game, wasn't it? Playing against them.
We used to get the biggest crowds when we played them, because people thought that they all knew that we're going to have a fight, and we did have a fight. Every game we played them, we had a fight. Didn't matter whether we played home or their ground, we had a fight. But the good thing was, we used to have a fight, and we used to give them a bit of a touch-up. And then if there was a wedding on a Sunday night, we'd all go there, but we wouldn't have a fight outside off the field.
No.
It was there on the field, and that was it.
Play Sunday, do business Monday.
Yeah. So, look, happy to say that the Macedonian community, they have nothing to whinge about as far as being happy from the club and being as a unit together.
Yeah, well, that certainly was the unifying thing for our community, that and the dances that we had.
Oh, well, of course, we used to have our monthly dances, and everyone used to come along, and
They started the Railway Hall, but then somewhere else before that, or
No, Railway Hall.
No, it was the Railway Hall. The odd one we used to do at
Shep East Hall.
Shep East Hall, but then our cousins
Park.
got the Shep East Hall, so we stayed at the Railway Hall. Yeah.
Danelle, that's Danelle. Giorgio's, he adopted him or something. He was always parked at the front. Danelle.
Don't know about that, bro. But Nick, when did you start playing? What year did you start?
73, 74.
Oh, you started that early too. Is this that old?
Yeah. We must have been short of players.
They were called midgets.
Oh, okay. You started with the little guys.
Yeah, no, we're talking the little ones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So by then,
I was 74. I thought it was 10 or 11, I don't know.
so by 74, we had
a
full club.
What you used to do at soccer training is these blokes would be kicking the ball at goals, and we'd have to go and get the ball behind the goals, and we'll not school there. That was the way you got the ball. That's how you got a kick.
Look, to be fair to Nick and the younger ones that have started, when we started our club back again we started back in 72, but because we were suspended from 68 to end of 72, we obviously started playing in 72 all under different name. And then we had to go and play at Wangaratta for a cup. And because all the league officials were there, well, we forfeited our final matches. We didn't go there because...
They knew who you were.
And they knew who we were, and they knew we were suspended for 4 years. So from 73... And I think people like Nick and a few others that were younger, they were the young kids, but we had the core players, like in the senior side. It was made up of 6 first cousins.
Yeah. You want to name them, please?
Well, the first cousins.
No, your first cousins.
Well, my first cousins.
And my second cousins.
Your second cousin. Well, the first cousins, Chris Radevsky,
Yep.
Peter Radevsky,
Yep.
Tommy. Obviously, my brother George was there, Louis Ozevsky. So technically, we were, and distant cousins were also the Chris Yosifovsky, Louis Yosifovsky
Yep.
boys.
Yeah.
But that was the core of our
Of the team, yeah.
Of the team, and then obviously we had feelings of not so much. When I say feelings, I don't mean it in a bad way, but there was Boris Duyov, Zdravko Duyov, Branko used to have the odd game in the reserves, but George Musalev, as we know him from Dragos, or George Vistevsky, was playing. And then we used to start using a top-up for where we needed players. We only used to always get 2 or 3 outsiders to make our top 11.
When you speak of outsiders, I remember my dad driving to Melbourne, picking up players and bringing them back, and then driving them back.
That was the case, yeah. When I say the generation before us, they were around about 50 years of age or 55 years
Yep.
of age, like your dad.
Yep.
And they did used to go to Melbourne and pick up 2 or 3 players instead of them coming down and so forth, and then returning them home, yes.
To getting back to you Nick, when did you make the big team, the first? Because your family's also had a few players in the team too, wasn't it? Was it just
Stephen and Chris played, yeah.
Yeah. And now you've got a young boy who's doing really well. Whose son is he?
Chris's oldest boy, Josh.
Where is he playing now?
He played for
Forever.
Shep.
this year.
Yeah.
Hadn't played for 2 or 3 years, but he was really good in the juniors and all that. He played for quite a few years, won a few cups, and then he won the best and fairest for the league and the goalkeeping for the league. He's in.
Is he a striker?
Yeah, up forward, yeah.
So
And yeah.
Okay, let's reset back. Your first game, when was that?
Well, my first game, when we first started, it was 1966. That was my first game.
And in your first year, you were lucky enough to be part of a premiership.
Certainly was, and there was good players in those. We used to have players like Velo Popov from Lajets. He played. Jon Bolevsky left back as a coach. Velo Popov was right back. Then we had the Croatian painter Frank Modlic, the captain of the side. But on top of that, we had the 3 Duyoi brothers. Jole, which Jole was a very good player. Boris played, and
Zdravko was pretty good too.
Zdravko was pretty good, and but he sort of didn't. He sort of took everything for granted,
Very casual
which is
about
a
it.
shame. Yeah,
There was a lot of, and it wasn't just half a dozen teams too. There was.
there was 14 teams.
Yeah,
There was 14 teams in those days.
A lot of
when
the smaller
we played.
towns, they all played soccer. Numurkah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So they were usually from migrant backgrounds, most of them.
Look, everyone,
English, Dutch initially, like Shepparton.
the only Dutch one and Scottish and Irish was the Shep City
Shep
Soccer
City, yeah.
Club. But Numurkah was Italian, Cobram Italian.
Tatura Italian.
Benalla was Polish.
Yeah.
Benalla was Polish because most of the Poles worked at Mansfield, Timber Yard.
Myrtleford, Italians, Greeks.
Myrtleford was Serbians and Italians.
Yeah.
Wodonga was pretty much Croatians and all that. Albury, Wangaratta was predominantly mixture of Greeks and Italians. But when we first started, obviously Roma was Italians.
Yeah.
And there was, our cousins didn't have a side then.
Really?
No.
United?
No, they didn't have a side in the 60s. The Trianides boys, they played for us, Nick and John.
Yep.
Like Peter Zerkes wanted to be our goalkeeper, but we obviously had my cousin Peter as a goalkeeper. But no, they didn't start till virtually 72, I think, or 71. When we were suspended, that's when they started in. I think they might have started 1970. I'm not too sure. And I wasn't that keen on. I wasn't that worried what they.
So how long was the suspension? From 66?
Well, from 68 to 1972, end of 72. The good thing was, when we got suspended, they did say to us that it was a life suspension, and life suspension in soccer means 4 years. And we were so happy that they didn't name the years. If they said 10 years, it would have had to be 10 years if they said 5 or 6. So when in soccer, life suspension means 4 year suspension, that's it.
Okay, getting back to the incredible successes of the club. Can you name them?
Can we go to 1975 with the donkey? You want to hear a story about a donkey?
The first one was...
Well, the first one was 74, obviously.
I'm going to 75.
But we had already won a premiership.
Yes, yeah, we beat our cousins United 2-1.
I thought you guys said...
I think it was the North Eastern Soccer League formed in...
Right. So going back to the original one that you played in 66 you won something. What was that they won that year?
The premiership.
A premiership.
Yeah.
They have a knockout cup or something.
Yeah,
it was a different format.
It was a different format. They didn't have a grand final. If you finished on top, they had
the old-fashioned way.
So the old-fashioned way.
Who's on top is the champion.
Then that's exactly right. But then the North East Soccer League, when it changed the name from Golden Valley Soccer League to North East Soccer League, that's when then they created that. If you finish on top, you're the champions, but then there was a grand final trophy. Final top 4 teams play in a grand final. Yeah,
That's Aussie rules influence in soccer. Usually, whoever's on top is the champion.
That's exactly right.
Championship means more than in Europe. And
But here in the Golden Valley, for us, the grand final meant more than getting the flag. See, we've got that many flags, and we've come first, not only in the seniors, but reserves and juniors. They've all, our women. We formed the women's side, and guess who they won the grand final against?
Oh no, don't tell me.
Our
cousins.
Our cousins.
You can win a flag, but if you don't win the cup, the grand final,
it wasn't.
Yeah. It's like a halfway house. It's not the full.
And the good thing was, in soccer, especially in the Golden Valley, I mean, Nick. His brothers didn't play that much, but Nick played obviously in grand finals with us. And for myself, the good thing was my nephew David, my son Johnny, my nephew Chris Radevsky's son Johnny Radevsky, they all won grand finals.
It's like a two split.
Okay.
If you want to talk about like the 60s and the 70s right up to the mid 80s.
Yeah.
And then the next generation.
Okay, that's right.
We had a bit of a drought too.
Yeah. Okay.
And my daughter and niece was involved in beating United in a grand final.
Okay, so because I don't know, bear with me, but so it was 66 was the first one?
Yes.
65, 66. I think.
Yeah, 60. Look, they call it 65, 66.
Okay,
Yeah.
And the next one?
Next one is 74.
74. So there was a hiatus, shall we say?
Well, don't forget, 4 years we were suspended. Yeah.
So you only came back in 72?
No, yeah, we did, but under...
And that's when you forwarded?
That's when we forfeited. And then from 73, we were in first division, 14-team competition, the people against like Myrtleford, Wirralli, King Valley.
Well, there are a couple of divisions then.
Oh yeah, we in 72 they actually put us in second division.
Mm-hmm.
There was nearly every team around Shepparton every town around Shepparton had a team. Yeah. So and we topped the division in 72, but then in 73 they scrubbed the second division.
Right.
They made us all first division.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 74 was the next one.
That was 74 was our starting point for winning grand finals at Princess Park, 2-1 against our cousins.
Do you want me to go through them all?
Yeah, please. That's what I was hoping.
2-1, 75.
Hang on. Do you know who we played?
United.
Okay,
Central
well,
Park.
okay.
I was 10 years old, I remember.
Okay,
Threw a
right.
can up in the air and then hit me.
So,
75, we played at Central Park. We played Shep South.
okay, the Italians.
Yeah.
And then?
And we won 2-0.
Yeah.
76 is the...
Were you in this, Chris? You
I'll go before I have too much wine.
I was suspended. I was suspended for Deacon Reserve against Cobram.
Right.
All the other
Yeah,
finals
we're
I was in.
76, we're on to that. We're 2-0 up
Yep.
in that game with 17 minutes to go.
Yep.
And we lost.
Yep.
That was a bad day.
So that was
Had a bit of a
like,
bad-
that hurt.
Yeah, well, when you're 2-0 up, 17 minutes to go, yeah, they got a penalty right at the end. Huey Rattray.
That was, and I was. That's the game I was suspended. Yeah.
Right.
77.
Were you captain then?
I don't know.
when we
I
had
must have been
captains,
captain coach or
It
something.
meant
yeah.
nothing at Lemnos.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
captain
It
meant nothing.
They just passed it around. And
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We did. I started off. Then we ended up getting Keith Johnson for a while.
Keith Johnson was 75.
Yeah. Then Tachura poached him because they thought that they're getting a good player.
Yeah.
And
Hard
they
he
played
trained
him.
you.
Eh?
He was hard trainer,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah. And then obviously it was back to me. Then I done it for a few years. Then Chris Radevsky done it for 1 year. Then my brother done it
Well-
for another year. Then I took over again. But really, it didn't matter who coached at our place. At half time, if I wasn't happy with what they were saying,
You'd have your 5
Old man to
cents.
tell you. All the oldies will tell you.
yeah, unfortunately, I used to step in and to be fair to the coaches and the people around and the players, they all took notice. Yeah.
Well, look, to be honest with you, I liked the idea of you guys sharing the captaincy. I think that was good. Gave people an opportunity,
Yeah.
and it would have made the club even closer because there's all lots of captains in it.
Oh, everyone has a go, yeah.
Everyone has a go.
Everyone had a go, and look, we as a community, we were very lucky in Shepparton, and not only because of that. Soccer kept us together, the football kept
Yep.
us together, and the good thing was when our kids were growing up, we all, not just ours, but say Nick, the Dimits, everyone, we all used to see each other, and we all went there, and we all had that one thing in mind, and that was it, that we need
Victory.
victory today.
Yeah.
We need to win at all costs.
Yeah,
you know,
nobody
and
sees each other. You can
Yeah.
get 6 months and you won't see someone.
Yeah,
We don't have
Which is
that sort of
unfortunate.
community anymore. You know.
but
So-
but for our club, the good thing was, as Nick said, it was a generation. There was my young bloke Johnny. I think he was a captain or coach or whatever he was, and they won a
They
flag.
won four premierships.
My
in,
son-in-law Carl was a coach, and he won a premiership. And
they won
David,
four
and,
in 7 years. Four
Yeah.
in 7 years.
Yeah.
2002, 3, 7,
Yeah.
8 and 9.
So our glory years were a long time, weren't they?
Oh, yeah,
From the
we-
70s to...
from the
When was the last victory of our club?
oh God.
It's been a while now.
Yep.
Oh, look, it probably would have
In the 2000s, early 2000s?
Oh, no, it'd be
10.
it'd be about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years we haven't. But we've also didn't have a club for so many years and all that, and we're restarting and so
We
forth.
folded in 99
Yeah.
for 2 years, and we came back in 02 and won it
Won
first
it,
year
yeah,
back after folding. 02, 03, back to back.
Have you been part of a premiership team yourself as a player?
Yeah,
How many did you play in?
6 or 7,
6 or 7 premierships.
84, 85,
Mate, players would give 10 years of their life to win one.
2 or 3 losing months, 3 losing months.
So, how many did we actually play off in?
Well,
If we won, was it 15 we won, or 14 or 15?
yeah, look,
I can tell you the ones we lost. Right?
70, can I go to 77? Right, we went to 76 or 77.
Right.
We won the flag. We were on top by a mile. We beat
Yep.
them out 3 times that year.
Yeah, yep.
And for some reason, on that grand final day, it was
We
1
just
all,
couldn't
and that
score.
Kaz Golonski from outside the box, the Polish bloke,
Yeah.
just had a blinder. They had a goalkeeper with could only see
They
out
had
of one eye.
Kurt, the one-eyed goalkeeper.
And they won 3-1. That was the one and only
He only had one eye.
No, but he was
a
good.
goalkeeper with one eye.
He was good.
You got beat by one keeper from one eye.
Look,
We'll edit this bit out.
in all the grand finals that we've been in, I can tell you that the ones that we've lost and it really hurted me. The first one, and as I said to you, the Cobram one, when you're winning, Deacon Reserve, and obviously we didn't lose because I was suspended. It was just one of those things. We lost to Cobram, we lost to Tura, and we lost to Benalla.
Right.
1989.
They were all two Italian teams and one
two
mixed.
and one Polish, and
Yeah.
1989 was the only time that, and I wasn't in Australia. 1989 was the only time that United beat our club, and they've got that thing on
They beat us
YouTube.
like in the
They've got that.
2000s.
They've got it on YouTube now because it's the only grand final United have beaten us in 40 years.
5 out of 6. It took them the 6th grand final. We did win 5 before that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, tell me about the hand of God.
Yeah, well,
set the scene.
Well, what happened was, Rudy Simonis was gonna. We didn't know that Rudy Simonis was going to be a referee. We expected a referee to be from Melbourne, as they used to always come. But for some reason, our mate John Avram.
No. Was it Johnny, was it?
Rudy Simonis was going to Queensland for a holiday, and John Avram decided to ask Rudy to postpone the match and then pay him a week later to go to Queensland so he can be the referee. So we were losing, obviously, 1-0, 30 seconds to go. And Rudy was a referee. It was a free kick. I took the free kick. Mario, the Italian goalkeeper, instead of punching it over the bar, you just put it up in the air.
Yeah.
As the ball was coming down, my cousin Chris Radevsky, instead of heading it, you punched it in.
Right.
Allegedly.
He didn't need to his hand.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
There was every player in the box.
Yes, it was,
Every single
because
player.
we had
The
30
keeper
seconds
came
to
out,
go.
only
Because of 30 seconds to
30
go,
seconds,
so
yeah.
everybody's there.
Yeah,
And
that
then,
was-
of course, when the ball went in the net,
it,
I think Rudy Simone and Rocky Cucinotti was a linesman, and Rudy Simonis was, soon as the ball went in the net, our spectators ran on the ground to hug us. Rudy thought that obviously
gonna
they were
disallow
after
that
him. He
Yeah,
wasn't
can't
going
miss
to.
it allowed.
So he ran to the halfway line. Then obviously it was 1-1.
It's in our 50-year video.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of the grand finals, 70. 7
We should maybe try and post as many of them as we can.
And then of course,
win the penalties.
yeah. And even today they still
To argue
know
that.
whether it was punched, and we tell them it was punched, and it's really
Hurts even
it
more.
hurts more.
So here's the irony of it.
Yeah,
When our club is formed,
yeah,
Nick Avram is the president.
yes,
The time when we smash it in with a hand, John Avram, his nephew,
was with the
was
other
on the
side,
other
on
side.
the other side.
And that's one of the problems with. That's what happened with our
that's
community.
well, look, that's the problem we have. And look, and to get it for people that don't know much of what's happening with them. When I say them and us, I say United. I never say the Grcite or the half caste Greeks or whatever. I just say United. What happens is it's really you cannot force a person to be what they want to be.
It's
It's
their choice.
It's their choice, and their choice is the wrong choice, unfortunately, as we know.
Yeah,
But
and there's a
that's
lot of them are starting to realise.
That's up to them. But we never ever had an argument with them about politics. It absolutely had nothing to do with politics. It was purely and simply that we as human beings, when I say we, and I mean, you know, the Dimits and Nick Diminopoulos and Mitch
Our
Adamchev
people.
and all them, our people, Rendevskis,
Yeah.
Radevskis, you name it, we were treated as a lower class. And was the hurting
Yeah,
thing
and,
from us.
and one of the reasons that they treated us as inferior was because we identified as Macedonian and they identified as Greeks.
Yeah, Greeks. And
Greeks was a big shot, big thing.
Well, that's right. Because it was well known if something bad was done in Shepparton, it was all, even from their side, though it was known in the papers as Macedonians,
Yeah.
but if something good was done, they were known as Greeks.
Greeks, yeah.
So it was really to destroy us as human beings.
I'll get back to you, bro.
Good evening.
Nick, hey, come in. Okay, so Nick, when did you start playing in the first?
80, I played a few games in 83. 84 I played in the grand final.
Right. What's the most memorable game that you had?
That 1984 for me.
1984, was it a grand final?
We're Central Park playing our friends. And we're 1-0 up, and then Louis stuffed up it wasn't a powerful shot, come off, and then they equalised. And it was 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. And they were running on top of us. I thought, we're gone here. They're going to beat us. Finally, they're going to beat us. And then we just sort of hung on till normal end of the game, and then went to extra time. And then I don't know what happened. What you said, or
Was
whatever.
the hand of God,
We went
bro.
berserk. No, 4 goals in.
Are you
in
kidding?
extra
This is
time.
another game.
John Little
Yeah.
outside the box. They changed about 3 different keepers. Robbie DeLutis was.
We
kicking
had
in.
we basically went in our change room, and even though that they were going, I like on top of us. At the end of the day, every time at half time, it wasn't about me being nice to you as a player and all that. If I done something wrong or my brother done something wrong, I'd tell him you cop it. And I never used to try and pick on players, but you talk, we have to do something, and we did. Johnny Little started performing well, and a lot of our backline, Nick and everyone, even though it was his as a young player, they all started performing well. When we came out, United didn't know what hit them. They changed, as Nick said, they changed 2 goalkeepers.
5-1 from
Yeah.
Gee,
Yeah.
that's a sort. That deep Pete sign. That was
Right, that's up the top there. Yeah, I can't really see it. But.
yeah, but it'll be in the book. As you post.
So, yeah, well,
So that was
Nick, the reason that you're here, bro, is because of what you did for the book.
Remember, I got a good.
No,
memory.
it's what you did for the book. The book is fantastic.
Well, there was a whole heap of us. John,
Yeah,
Chris's
Chris's son and that.
and,
And it was a community. That
What about
soccer
us?
club defined our community.
Look, with all due respects, whatever we've done when we were younger, with the Radevskis boys, the Davkovskis boys, and then the Dimits and the Sam Diminopoulos, Nick's son, and also like Johnny is his brother. We had someone to look up to as leaders, like your old man George and Nick, Zhivko Popov, and so on. So we basically knew what our job was to bring
Glory to
glory
to
that-
our
to those
community,
people.
to our
And
community.
then as they got a bit older, well, then we got to their age. Well, they had the next generation, which was, his nephew, Chris's son, Michael played, and then Anthony played for a while, and my young bloke, my nephew, Chris Radevski's son, and so forth. So basically, it was, as Nick said, it started off with a handful. It got,
it's like 3 generations.
Yes.
Like your.
yeah.
Chris, and then the sons,
And then it's
In the fourth.
our
And then, of
parents
course-
also who
and-
kicked it all off. Our parents did.
And then the good thing was, on top of that, it wasn't just the male of us, not just our juniors or reserves or seniors winning. We happened to be, we formed a female side, and our female side won the
Also
grand
good.
final also.
So, would you say we're the most successful team in the north in our area?
I can most certainly say
North
that.
Eastern Soccer League.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Gneef for what they
No,
call
no,
it
no,
now,
No.
but the league. In that,
The
for that
league that
period-
we
The
were
league
speaking
period
about.
there.
We were the most successful one because I can tell you.
Even
and-
more successful than Hawthorn.
Well, they only won it 3 years in a row. We
Yeah,
won it more.
How many-
But look, to tell you, to be honest with you, our club has been real successful. Not just juniors, female and male, and so forth, and as a community. I mean, it doesn't matter who you talk to. You can talk to any players that played 30 years ago. They know who we were. Like, for instance, 1979, when we beat United, our cousins 4-0. They had
I was going to talk to you
international-
about that.
well,
So I
international
was gonna get
players.
into Jimmy Armstrong,
They
and Jimmy
had-
Mackay.
Yeah, and also on top of that, they also had Costa Topsalidis from Wangaratta.
Yeah, I remember him.
Armstrong and Mackay played in the '74 World Cup, so they're only about 36, 37 years
Yeah.
old.
Paul
35
Murphy,
years old.
Paul Murphy, the Irishman, was playing for them too. So they virtually had international players playing. But what they couldn't work out is why we used to beat them was that we had our core players
Yeah.
locally, and our core players listened to what they were told from the start at half time, and we only used to get players to fill in certain spots
Yeah.
that we couldn't get
If you
locally.
if you play for
Yeah.
a jumper,
Yeah,
they had players playing for big money.
for money.
For money, right? And
That's-
it's happened through history.
You've actually hit the
right
nail.
up until last year. Like Tachura won the cup this year with all your kids, their own.
You
talent,
had
right?
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
We were
That's
playing
always-
for more than the game. We were playing for ourselves
Yeah.
Yeah,
to prove who we are, that we're worth something, as you keep
Oh.
saying.
Getting back, the Basildam Knuckles scored 3 goals in that game. He was only 19 years old in 1979. We beat him 4-0.
Well, I heard this story. Our uncle Tom goes to Armstrong.
yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, Jim
You wanna
Armstrong,
tell- you
yeah.
wanna tell us
Well,
that?
I was obviously the coach of our club, and I was also on in the league,
Yeah.
board of management. Anyway, when we beat them 4-0, the referee sent a letter to the league reporting Jim Armstrong for bribing the referee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $250.
So Jim Armstrong bribed the ref
Yeah,
on
well,
behalf of
Of
Chichitome.
of my uncle Tom Zerkis, because Tom Zerkis told him that we have never ever beaten this red and black side. We need to do something, so here's $250. I need you to go and bribe the referee. So the referee didn't take the money.
Oh, really?
No. When we beat him, obviously the referee reported him, and we tabled the referee's report at the RSL. John Weir was our chairman, and we could have sent Jim Armstrong to the Victorian Soccer Federation. It was known then before, and be suspended for bribing the referee. But I just said to him, "Look, we
won, forget it.
won the game, and we're not interested." And until today, I've caught up with Jim Armstrong. He's with a walking stick now, and he's always, every time he sees me, he thanks me because he knows what happened. And he said there was no way. He says, how many referees we bribed? We were never going to beat that red and black side, he says, in 79.
That's what my dad, apparently he said to Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom said to him, "Hey, but mate, what's
Yeah,
going on?
Yeah.
What's happening? We pay you money. You're a star. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
beat these
yeah,
shit
yeah.
kickers."
Well, don't forget Jim Mackay, late Jim Mackay. He scored a goal for Australia
Yeah.
in 1974 in the World Cup.
In a World
in
Cup.
Unit.
Couldn't score one against
He couldn't
Macedonia,
score, he couldn't score
Shepparton.
one against us in Shepparton, yeah.
No, we went through some names, you know.
Yeah,
We had just a goalkeeper then, Ian Petherick.
Ian Pedrick. We had a good
Just getting
goalkeeper.
back to, we had the core of, Nashi
Yeah.
on our side, but we'd always get, like Chris said, just a few blokes from other clubs or that were.
We never poached them. They
We never
used to
poached
come
them.
and see
Might have been
us.
I want to be with
But
a
what
successful
I
club.
I want to stress one thing. I know from fact of people, our friends and a lot of other clubs used to badmouth us, right?
Yep.
Don't go to them, they're a pack of arseholes and that. And I can guarantee you, every player that played for us
Got a
from
grand
Went-
final.
went-
Got a grand
went away with
final,
a-
like Dave Thiemann,
Yeah.
right, played in that many losing grand finals everywhere, and the
Colin Hay.
Colin Haig, and after they played for us, they had a whole different
Yeah. Well, as
feel of our club. They never thought it was going to be like that. You know, they thought, oh, we heard this, we heard that.
as you mentioned, anything negative,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't negative, it'd be cast as a negative about us.
Yeah, well, that was it. We were, as Nick said, we were obviously
The boogeymen.
Yeah, we were. But every single player locally from Shepparton that come to us, they came after playing so many years against us. If they wanted to win a trophy, they come to us only for 1 year. They win a trophy, then they go back to another club and whatever, which it didn't bother us, you know.
No.
Like, that's what.
No.
That's
Well,
what.
like you said, you
Well,
had
that
your
was
call.
their wish. That
Your
was
your
their
call
wish.
was really
Herbie-
passionate.
Herbie Mathers.
Well, Herbie Mathers, Shane Green, Colin Hay.
Mick McCoy come from
Mick McCoy never went anywhere. He was
But he played for
basically,
City?
he came to us and he stayed with us.
Was he at Shep City?
Yeah, I think he started at Shep City for a while and then he came, and then his kids played for us and so forth.
Did Joe
Super.
Wanya?
Oh, Joe Wanya,
he
we're
at South?
talking, he was at South with his brother Steve. Yeah,
Then we had the Cabao.
yeah.
Anyway, Armstrong's supposed to have said to him, Tom,
Yeah.
you're never going to beat these guys.
Well, he did.
They're playing for something higher
Yeah,
than sport.
yeah. Well, he did, and I can, as a player and coach on the ground, I heard Jim McKay saying to Jim Armstrong, he says, mate, he says, when you get the ball, don't give it to those other riffraffs. He says they got no idea what they're doing. He says, try and give it to me. I'll see if I can score a goal. But when you've only got 2 or 3 players,
Yeah.
they were outnumbered.
And the others were
Nah, the others.
hungover from the night before.
Yeah.
It's all, you mentioned that last time, and
Yeah.
let's go over that. You were serious. Our team was a serious team. It wasn't there for show. It was there to play the game to the best of our ability. And you mentioned that no one could drink at our club.
Look, it was that serious, and as I said to you, probably in hindsight, maybe I sort of went a little bit too far in that seriousness where certain relatives of mine are a little bit upset even now, but we never drank alcohol from Thursday. We never drank alcohol. I remember there was a wedding at the Civic Centre, it was known, and a few of our players were invited, my cousin Chris Radevsky, my brother and so forth. And I used to go from one table to another to keep an eye, make sure no one's drinking any alcohol. We never drank alcohol. We drink alcohol now. We love
Yeah.
it. We love our ATN now.
Yeah.
I mean, but and to be fair to the younger ones, like Nick, when they came, my son, my nephew and so forth, they all continued not drinking. We used to, after the game, we used to bring more soft drink after the game. We'd have the same slab of beer for 3 weeks after the game. Yeah, right?
Jungle used to
Yeah. We used to have Zivko
yeah.
up to Charetso that used to come and drink because he knew no one drinks it.
So,
Yeah.
Nick, getting back to you, bro. What was your highlight of your career?
Well, 1984.
1984.
Yeah, probably. I think coaching.
Where did you play?
Coaching on left back.
Left back.
I was pretty lucky. If I was born a right, because I wasn't blessed with skill, but I trained hard
Right.
and I was.
Is he right?
I was fit.
He listened.
Yeah.
Listen, I
yeah.
trained
He
hard.
wanted to improve.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was left-footed, so there wasn't too many. It was only me and Tom Radeski.
Yeah.
The whole
Right.
side was all right-footed,
Right,
so
right.
it'd give me the chance to play left-back.
So 84, you were a premiership player.
84, 85.
85. Two in a row.
Yeah. Well, we did win
Then
4.
we had-
How many in a row did you win? 4 or 5? 5 in a row. You
And-
were captain and coach.
Yeah, and
Give me 5, brother.
and no one has no one's broken that.
Ugali was going for 5 in a row.
I'm just sorry, guys.
Ugali-
I'm getting goosebumps.
In the
You
mid
know.
'90s, Ugali was going for 5 in a row, and we stopped there 5 in a row. We hadn't won since '85, so we had an 11-year spell where we lost in '89 and we lost in '93 to Ugali.
How
But
many
we
did
stopped there. We stopped there. They're breaking our 5 in a row in '96.
How many losses did you have? You won 15, 14. How many times did you go?
Oh,
to
look,
lose?
after '86, obviously we lost '89 to United, and then
'93.
and all that. But then from in all the grand finals that we played from '95 when we had Kitty and Rats, so we hadn't lost a grand
I
final.
think we won like 6 in that period from
Yeah.
'95 to
Wow.
2007,
So-
and lost maybe 1.
So altogether 15 victories and what, 5 losses? 6 losses?
Yeah.
In the book.
That's one hell of a
Gotta buy the
record,
book.
guys.
You've got to buy the book.
So
Look, even
Better finals record than Collingwood.
even talking to our cousins, the United people, they all now, the fair income ones that understand
Yeah.
sport and
yeah,
understand,
yeah.
they admit now what success means, and they actually are congratulating us on the success that we had. And look, the success didn't come
Easy.
and it didn't come without cost. We in our time, and I guess when I say in our time, and we were all relatively young and married young. I mean, I was married when I was 19, and so was I think my cousin Chris.
Yeah, and Peter.
We
And
did
Peter
marry
and
and play
all.
the next day.
Yeah.
And but we had that thing where there was no weddings on
On
Sunday,
Sunday, yeah.
there was no christenings on Sunday, and there's no.
It was a holy day, bro.
That was it.
Didn't go on holidays.
You didn't go on holidays until the end of the season or before the soccer season.
Now, guys,
Yeah.
me, myself, who wasn't part of this, I want to thank you and I want to tell you how proud I am of what you guys achieved. I don't think there's another community that can have that sort of record. That's one hell of a record. You know, like 20 in 50, 60 years, 20 times, that's like 1 in 3 times playing off a championship and like winning 15 of them.
We had some spoilt supporters because
Yeah.
when we won 5 in a row, they didn't even jump up and down. Didn't even
Well,
have a,
look, I can tell you, my dad, who was one of the, you'd have to say one of the important people,
Yeah.
and he lived and breathed you guys.
we haven't really touched on, like, mentioned.
Oh, look,
Let's mention some of the old
Oh,
guys.
look,
Just the players that we got from Melbourne.
the players that we had, to be fair, as Nick says, and we need to touch them. I mean, majority of us local guys, we all, and it was without, we hung around obviously because we were the core people, but people that we used to get, from Melbourne, particularly Mick Davkovski. He come down
10 years or something, didn't
well, 8 years,
8 years,
and 8 years, in 8 years coming from Melbourne, never missed a soccer match, and even him never, when he was christening his kids, he didn't have a christening the Sunday we were playing. So for 8 years, and we used to call him Okritskjor, and the whole league knows about him,
yeah.
because he came for, and he didn't come for money. He came because he was part of us. And Nick Mladenovsky, Roy Kovic. So we, and don't get me wrong, we handpicked the players, the people we wanted.
Yeah.
We didn't pick them for the players. We picked them for
the position?
for the position and the
What you needed.
and also the human beings that they were.
Right.
Like Johnny Little.
John Little's the best player I've seen.
Johnny Little
Tell me something more about him. Who did he play with in Melbourne?
He played it for Preston Macedonian.
Right, yeah.
And what happened was Johnny Little had an accident. He broke his leg one season.
Yep.
And then it was going to be hard and Peter Ollerton was the coach the following year, and it was going to be hard for him to break into the senior side for Preston Macedonian.
Yeah.
So we were looking for a striker, and we decided to go, Nick Damianopoulos and we approached the committee. Late Peter Muka was, my slut was in the committee, John Branoff, and the latest one that passed away from Laja Tsiso.
Oh, yeah.
He was
Recently.
in the committee at Easter. Yeah. And they said, yeah, we'll give you John Little. He said $5,000.
Whoa.
So we said, fine, but when Johnny Little comes back to you, you give us your 5,000 back. But anyway, Johnny Little came, as Nick knows, and he just gelled in. He knew where he stands with us, and he knew who we were. And he also trained in Melbourne. We didn't ask him to come to
back,
train in Shepparton.
Yeah.
We wanted him to be fit there, and he done the right thing. And when we did win at the end of the year, Johnny Little wanted to go back to Preston. Unfortunately, it didn't work out right. Preston didn't want to give us the money back. So Johnny Little went to Maribyrnong, Polonia. And we thought we lost the 5,000. No written contract or anything, just a handshake.
Yeah.
And the following year we were playing against Seymour at Seymour, and Johnny Little bowls up and gives us the 5,000
What
out
a
of his own
gentleman.
pocket.
What a gentleman.
And we let him, we said, for being honest,
Take it.
$500 we gave him as a tip, and we kept the 4,500.
Which was a lot of money in those
Well, in those days, it certainly was. But to be fair, and as of today, Johnny Little, we are, not just me, but
two
Nick.
stints, he came back
Yeah,
again.
we are. Yeah, we're friends, and and you don't find. When I say you don't find players, I don't think it's the right word. It's human beings.
Yeah.
Players is one thing, but our people that played for our club, they're all decent humans.
Yeah, and ended up playing for the club.
And they all
not for the
played. They
money.
all played with their heart, and they all played for Shepparton Macedonia.
Okay. I'll ask you.
He had about a size 8, 7 or 8. Tiny little boot.
Tiny like me.
And when he hit the ball, like
Tiny
yeah,
feet, tiny other things.
Lemnos Oval, I was at the shop,
Yeah.
and he's chested it down and volleyed outside the box, top corner. And I said,
Wow, he can play.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
first time I seen it.
Okay, Nick, I'll ask you first, bro. Who's the best players from that 20, 30, 40 year period,
Oh,
if you had to pick?
yeah, well, actually, I said John Little, but then Michael Kidd. We were talking about, we don't want to talk about Nashi.
First of all, talk about the imports, then talk about our people.
Yeah, well, the imports. Mick Tasevsky for just consistency, but for brilliance.
What position did he play?
Centre half.
Yeah.
Back?
Centre half. Well, he used to be called sweeper.
Yeah.
What were we saying? Like Michael Kidd, John Rattle, and
They're from England.
And our players?
But,
Our players, Shepparton-born Macedonians.
Chris Radevsky
Chris
was
Radevsky.
amazing. Because
My father thought he could play in the league.
He just his longevity, like naturally fit, no drinking, no smoking, nothing. Scored in 2002. He was 50. He scored in the grand final. In the seniors.
Did he play till 50?
He was 50. He scored in the grand final against TAP.
Yeah.
We won.
Wow.
3-1.
Yeah.
George was a good sweeper for a long time.
George.
My brother.
His brother. Chris,
I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him.
Chris didn't have the skill of them blokes, but had the determination and bluffed his way and scared the opposition.
Look,
Hang on, I'm
sorry.
finished yet. Russell Dunlopoulos was a good player, a real pacey wingman. There's a few others, but yeah.
Oh, look, every one of our local players had a job to do on the day, and they all done it well.
Yep.
Whether they were skillful and it didn't matter who was a coach, didn't matter who was a captain. At the end of the day, we all played the way we sort of knew, and it was with our heart and soul, and it was with our determination. So technically, that's what really got us on top of the opposition.
You played as a unit.
We played as a unit, and it had no it had no bearing. I mean, I didn't have to study in the computer. As long as our players were fit and they were able, when they get bowled over, they get up instead of lying on the ground. They get up and show the opposition that they're not injured.
Yep.
Well, that was the main thing, and that counts for a hell of a lot, you know.
So
Lemnos Oval with one little light
Yeah.
in the pitch.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Training.
Oh, that
and
was
that's
weird.
a massive oval.
Yeah.
And
It's a football ground.
I know
Yeah, and
we
cricket
were
ground,
fit,
yeah.
but when it went to another level when Rats and Kitty came,
Yeah.
and then we to keep up with them because they were.
Well,
sick.
they had what's the name, Graham Thompson from England. He kept on ringing about Michael Kidd. Michael Kidd played for Cambridge United
Yeah.
at that time, and he was checking up on him. He had to do, besides our training, he had to do a 10Ks run every day.
Right.
To make sure that he doesn't slack off when he goes back over there. And the good thing was when he did go back there and they put him on the first game, Shepparton Macedonian got mentioned on TV.
Right.
That
Fantastic.
Michael Kidd is back from Australia,
Cambridge.
from Shepparton Macedonia, in Cambridge United.
Chris, before we finish, I got to tell you this. Someone said to me, when Chris Davkovski was on the ground, we walked really tall. Now, is that because you were a tough player, bro? Tell us something about your attitude to the game.
Look, I never ever thought, I've never classed myself as a tough person, but I can assure you that once I crossed that white line
Yep.
and I was on the field,
Yeah.
I was a different person. There was nothing in my mind other than that ball
You bled for that,
and
bro.
beating the opposition. And if I had to go through certain people that were a threat to us,
You would do that.
I'd do it.
I heard they-
I remember him.
Sorry, go on, bro.
79. Like you're saying, I can just picture him going down the wing playing Shep South. This is to get in the grand final. United was already in. We're 1-0 down
At Cobram.
at Cobram's ground, and the cars are starting up. People are packing up their chairs and all that. And it was 15 seconds down the wing. Chris is going. His eyes are just somehow he got the ball across, and Corley, I think it was.
Nick
Davkovski just sort of stumbled on the ball and it just rolled into the net, and we got to extra penalties. And then after Ian Petherick, I think he saved 3 or 4 penalties. But just the determination's not over till till the whistle.
Well, they used to have at the Cobram, as Nick said, 15 seconds to go, and I can hear Mrs. Tricarico, Tony Tricarico's mother, with a cowbell, ringing as if like Mar and Park Kettle, ringing and all that, and that was going through my head, and that was getting me really uptight. And I guess when your strength comes from in your heart.
Yeah.
A bit like when they called the pumpkin, here come in Laylaw, was it Keilor?
Yeah.
Here come the pumpkin growers. Or
the crustacea growers.
The cucumber growers.
We played in the Masso Cup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mention that Masso Cup.
Hang on, we beat them 2-0.
We beat them 2-0.
Shut them right up.
Who was that? Who did you beat?
We played at the Preston ground.
Because you played off with Preston at the
Preston.
We did. We
played 3
with,
games that day. They'd only played 1 game prior to that.
Right.
So that was only their 2nd game.
Right.
And we kept right up with them till
we
half-time.
played. We had to beat Altona Magic.
Right.
Altona Varga, right?
Yeah.
And Sele Preslevski, he used to play for Preston. He was their coach. And Sele and I, even today, we're good friends. But Sele said to their players, don't underestimate
These guys.
These country boys, because they'll surprise you. Anyway, sure enough, we beat them 2-0. So Teller got him on the
Huddle,
ground
yeah.
in a huddle, and he said, "Now," he says, "any one of you guys want to go for a leak?" He says, "Go in the women's toilet." He says, "They do it sitting down, not standing up." He says, "None of you can go standing up, because," he says, "I told you these guys are going to beat us." And even today, Teller still, he shakes his head. He says, "I don't know." He says, "What happened?" But don't forget, Vardar, Eltaina Vardar.
Do you remember what year it was? Was it early 80s?
Oh, yeah. Well, we had Mick Tasevsky caller playing for us, yeah.
And anyway, we got to Preston, so we played that was
Against
3
Gary
games.
Ward, late George McMillan,
Cuz, who was the best player you played with?
in our club.
Yep.
Oh, look. Locally born, I guess my cousin Chris Radevsky. Then as a centre half, obviously my brother,
Your brother
locally
George?
born, yeah, my brother. Ian Pedrick, our goalkeeper, as Nick said.
He's a local boy?
He was a
Local,
goalkeeper,
he
in
was,
16 years old
Yeah.
in our seniors.
He was a wicket
1976.
keeper in cricket.
Oh, okay.
He was an all-round
Whoa.
sport. He was an
Yeah.
all-round sport.
Great reflexes.
Robbie Delutis, the
yeah,
same sort of footy,
yeah,
cricket.
yeah.
They played everything.
And then obviously, if we're going to be, and look, when he was here, also George Musalev.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yes.
But then we can't go past Mita Okritski, Mita Tasevsky, top player, Johnny Little, Roy Kovic, and even to some stage, he's still, I think he's coaching Coburg, the Turkish boy, Sonny, our midfielder. When Roy didn't come, he's got a long name, but they were the players. Ozil Seal, Sonny. But obviously, look, locally.
We got also with Andy Ingham, Luke Slater. We got.
Oh yeah, the English boys.
We haven't mentioned this. I know we're going to go.
Oh, no, keep
But
going.
we got guys like Luke Slater over here, virtually sponsored them,
Yeah.
paid their way.
Yeah.
Andy Ingham, Sean Kane,
Yeah,
and they got their citizenship and all that through us, and
Yeah.
then they went their other way.
So we were really a very open-hearted, multicultural club. We included anybody.
And Andy Ingham and Luke Slater actually, when we didn't have much to do with them getting them in Australia, they were actually going to. They were actually involved a little bit with our cousins United.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know whether, because United were training on a Wednesday and a Friday, we happened to, because we were Tuesday and a Thursday, and that's how Andy Ingham and Luke, then they become part of us. But as Nick says, Sean Kane, we had something to do with him. Michael Kidd and Johnny Rattle, we paid their airfare, and all we did, people think that we were paying big money for them to stay. No, we weren't paying them to play for us. We just paid their airfare to return back to England, and we had paid the unit for them to stay in Shepparton for our soccer season.
So we were actually a destination club, as you mentioned before. A lot of players wanted to come
To us.
because they wanted to win.
Yes.
And we're winners.
And we were, look, we were winners look, a lot of people, when they look at this, they'll probably say we got tickets,
No, they're not going to say that.
That's far from it. The reason we were successful like everybody else, we also had, I know Nick was young, but we all got to remember too, Chris Radevsky, myself, Peter Radevsky, we were newly married and had a young family, our parents. So we had everybody that was involved in our club, Nick and Chris and everyone, we also had understanding family.
Yeah.
They knew
the
most important thing in Shepparton is...
You played the game all week in your head.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that was it. If I had a fight if I had a fight, when I had a fight, which was often against our cousins, I knew I can go home and neither Dad or my late mum or my wife would turn around.
What the hell are you doing?
What's going on? Because 9 times out of 10, we wouldn't start we'd end the fight, but we wouldn't start the fight, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's what distinguished us from a lot of other clubs. That we were the underdog, and we never had tickets on ourselves. We always played for ourselves.
That formula, like getting back to our successful period, was playing for the jumper, not for money. And look, other clubs had success, and it wasn't until they copied us. United started winning premierships when their own boys started playing.
Yeah.
How many have they won?
They'd won 3 or 4 in a row at one stage.
Yeah.
3 in a row, I think they won.
In the mid.
But look, we
At every club that's had the success, it's been from, you can't just pay your way to a premiership. It's got to be core of local side.
Before we finish, I'm gonna get your strip there. I wanted people to see it, but I just wanna throw something out there. Something like,
we haven't mentioned the name.
I want to throw something out there. Now, had we been a united community, the sky would have been the limit for our team.
Had we been together with our relatives from the other side, I think that we would have been a lot better community in Shepparton.
Yep.
At the moment, right now, neither us or them
are doing anything. Yeah.
We in a few more years, we will fade away, and they might have faded away a little bit earlier than us. But
that's over time.
Yeah, but if we were together, we would have had a not just a club. We would have had
a community centre, everything.
We would have a reception that belonged to us, and no one was going to beat us. We would have actually been a lot better than what the Italians are now. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
I think we could have,
and it's disappointing.
I think we could have easily had a second division, if not first division club in Melbourne.
Oh, look,
the way we were in those days.
Well, Jim, let me tell you Nick, at one stage, do you know that we, because we had nothing to achieve anymore here in Shepparton, we were, and our supporters, they took it for granted that every year we're in the grand final and we can see it. We actually spoke to Melbourne and we looked at buying a team in Melbourne for us to be playing in Melbourne at that time. And then Shep City, Ted Hogan came to us at Davkovski School Store to have a meeting, and we agreed we will join because Shep City were already in third division. But when he went back, he sort of went against us at their meeting. We weren't present. They felt that if
we'll
they
take
joined,
over, bro.
well, we'll take over and we'll have our colours and so. And look, and for a winning thing, we probably would have taken over. I'm not saying we wouldn't have, because we can see with them, it was okay. Shrugged their shoulders. Oh well, we lost. Bad luck. We'll try next week. Well, for us, it wasn't bad luck. If we lost, everybody knew.
We were depressed until next Sunday. I know.
We couldn't wait till Sunday comes.
Brothers, I wasn't here. I wasn't here, so I couldn't share in your despair and in your elation. But every time I came back here, it was like I get goosebumps thinking about how great this club was within this competition. Easily, I mean, the greatest team in this competition, easy.
And we have got, we're not just Nick and I's words, but there's a folder up here.
Yep.
With all the
saves a lot of newspapers.
Good on you. Good on you.
Shepparton newspapers and everything, and that speaks volume for us.
That's history there that you've got, brother.
So,
Well done for taking.
Yeah.
So we've got to share it, guys.
Yeah.
Somehow we've got to share this. Now I'm going to share this, but if you're on Facebook, you share it on your page too. Now before we finish, I want to thank you, but I want to come closer to show. What are you wearing at the moment, Nashil?
Oh, that's the 60-year.
What are you wearing?
That's the top they made for the 60th year.
Is that actually a strip to play with, or
No, that's that was our logo on
the
our
logo?
Guernsey.
The logo on the
Yeah,
Guernsey.
and-
It's
but
it's
for
the
this-
United Macedonia, right?
That this one here is the Shepparton Soccer Club logo.
Right. And over here you've got.
Oh, yeah, what's that? Oh, no, that's the...
That's the same sort of thing.
Pirin and Barda.
Yeah,
We used to have on there.
Vardar, Ege and Pirin.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Lemnos Soccer Club.
no, this is not going to be like a movie,
We've
but
made it into
I
a-
think I want to thank you. It was great. Nearly as good as what we did last
Yeah.
time, brother.
Look,
So I have one regret, Chris,
yeah.
that I didn't play soccer with you, man,
Oh, well,
because we played as kids.
yeah. And well, your brother had
It's
the
the age
chance.
difference.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the age difference.
Two weeks.
No, 2 weeks.
You're
Look,
kidding. He's
yeah,
older.
look,
He-
and you know, like I wasn't as good as these guys, but I loved sport. But I loved music more. So
Your brother scored a goal
that's
in the
where I
grand
went.
final.
Then.
You know that?
My-
John scored a goal.
my
in the
brother,
grand- he
without
scored a goal in the
trying,
grand final. Make sure you
Well,
put that in there.
my brother Johnny, he's a very realistic person, and he knows where he
He
stands.
run fast.
And he's one of the wittiest human beings you will ever meet. And he's also loves all his family and his community. Although
Knows its history.
he knows his history. So thank you, and George, good to see you again, mate. I won't turn this around.
Anyway,
He's in his
Nick,
pajamas.
thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to say that I've forgotten?
the only thing that I'd like to say is finishing off. I want to thank you, Jim. Irrespectively, we are cousins. We're always going to be cousins. But all I want to say is the achievement that we've had is Shepparton as a community. It wasn't achieved by one family. It was achieved
By
as
everybody.
a community by
Correct,
everybody
correct.
that was here in Shepparton
Correct.
and people that were here before 1962 when we arrived.
Yeah,
The and the difference with us as a community is that we all were going for one thing, and one thing was we wanted to be known as as human beings, treated as human, and number two was we know that we're Macedonians. We will never change from that. But the main thing was we needed Shepparton to know who the Macedonians are in Shepparton.
and boy, did you do it,
And
brothers!
we certainly done it.
Boy, did you do it!
I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank our Macedonian community for that too.
Thank you, Itzor. I appreciate it, and I just want to reiterate it again. It was much more than a game.
It
It
certainly
was the Macedonians
Yeah, it certainly-
destroying the opposition. And we joke about that, but it is very important to all of us here. Your dad's already spoken about it. You, Nick, you, Cuz, and me.
One thing people need to also remember, Jim, is with us, as tough as we were, as rough as we were and all that, and we have won many, we never ever caused any hassles in the community or in Shepparton after the 90 minutes. Once the 90 minutes was over, that was it. From Monday, we just couldn't wait till the following Sunday to...
Chris, I'm glad you brought that up because
it wasn't that we were fighting down the street or I'm going to get even with you. No.
even though there were idiots who wanted to fight you, and I know that.
That was different.
Yep.
But that was far from it. We weren't ones to sort of turn around and carry a grudge. Cross the white line, we were different people. The game finished, we were...
Chris, let me just mention one thing which you and I spoke about.
Yeah.
We speak about our cousins.
Yeah.
We love our cousins.
We certainly do.
And they got to know this.
Yeah.
And, you know, we weren't the deluded ones.
No.
All that time we were hoping that we could embrace them back into the fold.
Yeah.
But for what you said, and it wasn't even about being Macedonian and being Greek, it was about this idea that they felt they were better because they identified as Greek. Now, in my opinion, that's stupid.
Right. Yeah. And I don't believe, doesn't matter what, even though we have achieved all that success in our community, we do mix with the opposition teams like the Italian teams and so forth, and we have never ever teased them about that because our success was our success and our happiness.
Yeah.
But with our cousins was basically a little bit.
It was deeper than that, bro. It was much deeper.
Yeah.
Then we were fighting the struggle of 1945 to 49 when our partisans in Ege were fighting to free themselves.
Right.
That's what it was, wasn't it, George? It was more than a game.
Well, that was the older generation. But for me, when I came here in 1962 and I started as 11-year-old and my cousins, all my cousins, yourself, you were here before us and so forth. Then we started playing. It was just a little bit different, you know. We needed to stand up as Macedonians and be known as human beings, and that was basically what we done.
Nick, you wanted to say something, bro? One sec.
Yeah.
We were called the Lemnos Soccer Club.
Yeah, we up till
92.
No, 98. When we went to Rumballara.
Yeah.
Oh, you played at Rumballara.
Yeah, we shared the ground.
How
with
ironic
Indigenous
with the Indigenous people of Australia.
2000, we went out to Rumballara, and it was the best thing we done by changing not just the name, because then it was actually a master stroke because Shepparton Soccer Club. Nobody had Shepparton Soccer Club.
Right.
Shepparton United got
Yeah.
But what happened was a lot of the coming in the 2000s, Australians started playing soccer kids.
Yeah.
There's no way parents would ever take. We were struggling for
to get junior.
They're not over, right? And then when we made that move over there, we started getting a strong foundation in the junior base. United was still at Central Park, and then they made the move too, because you just can't.
Did you ever have any Indigenous players?
Yeah, we did.
Did you have a guy called Darren Turner at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Darren is a good friend of mine.
Yeah, well, Darren, he played for us in against.
He had talent, that man, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Real talent.
But he was.
Because his uncle. Because he's going to watch this.
Well, his uncle. No, well, that's
which one
all
are
right.
you talking about?
And
Dennis Turner.
Trainer.
He was our masseur.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Not only that, also cousin Colin was our masseur. Michael.
Lovely bloke.
So our relationship with the Indigenous people here was positive.
When we went there, Rumballara, he used to mow the ground for us. No, Dennis. Well, what's his name? Darren. Yeah, he played, and he was on the bench, and we're playing in Cobram, and all of a sudden a few things happen there. You know, the Italians against the Macedonians, and Darren goes to me, he says, "Hey brother," he says, "you want me to go and give them a touch-up?" I said, "Darren, you haven't gone on the field yet." I said, "You can't do it." I said, "When you get on the field, you can do whatever you want," you know. But no, we obviously, I coached Darren. He's a good bloke.
He's a very good bloke.
Yeah.
You know what Darren calls me? No. Tut. As in Tata.
There's a Tata.
Yeah, because he thought my name was Tut.
If you do see him...
I'm going to see him. I saw him Saturday. On Saturday, I was privileged to go to the Indigenous Sports Awards at Nathan Lovett Murray, a friend of mine.
I have a photo on the fridge of him in the team.
Of Darren?
Yeah.
Let me take that. Let me take that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this has been fantastic. Maybe we can do something else one day about our community, but I want to thank you.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.
Vaji?
Certainly.
So
thank you too.
Let's get a picture of Darren at the end, eh? Do you mind?
Yeah, I'll tell. We'll go and get
Folks, I'm here at it's the end of our talk. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm inside a packing shed here. I'll give you a look to see what happens. Once again, folks, that's the story of the Shepparton Macedonian Football Club. Thank you.